All right, so thanks for following me. I'm back for today. I've been doing more research. I've been making more phone calls. In particular, I woke up thinking I really want to know exactly what banks are doing. And so I've made an entire list of banks that you can't see on my screen that I'm going through in Knoxville and calling as much as I can, going through the stupid phone tree and seeing if I can't get more information. Already I've been able to talk to a handful of banks. What I've learned is actually pretty interesting. What I've been learning, I've talked to, a few banks are really helpful. A lot of banks, they're right now in skeleton crews, and so it's really hard to find someone who really understands the legislation, the pandemic relief. I've called federal credit unions, I've called normal banks like national-sized banks, and I've called smaller banks. I'm still going down the list, but I'll at least share with what I've learned. What I've learned is that Bank of America was very helpful on the phone. They had expressed to me that SBA hasn't even given the guidance on making the PPP loans. Pinnacle has fantastic resources online on their website, and a lot of credit unions are still getting their facts together. It's important to help understand, so how does the funding flow work here? So the way that the CARES Act works and Title I works, where the Paycheck Protection Program, how it's designed, it amends the Small Business Act. All these business provisions, they are amending the Small Business Act, and the funding mechanism, the loan mechanisms come from the SBA. And so really, the PPP loan is what they call a Section 7A loan. Section 7A loans, you can get up to $5 million, but I believe an express loan has been amended to go as high now as $1 million, whereas before it was $350. So wait, let's recap. There is a 7A loan, and then there is an express 7A loan. The express was capped at $350,000. CARES Act amended it so it's up to $1 million. Turns out banks who are FDIC backed, yes, that's a requirement. That's in the CARES Act. But also what's really necessary for banks to be able to issue PPP loans, and turns out EIDL loans, the disaster recovery, they have to be able to issue 7A loans. They have to be able to be a preferred lender with the Small Business Administration. And so it's harder for banks to become that right now, but if a bank already had that standing, they're obviously in the best standing to be able to issue these loans quickly. According to Pinnacle's website, they are currently issuing EIDL loans. They are not issuing PPP loans. No bank is issuing PPP loans right now. Bank of America indicated to me that they haven't received guidance by the Small Business Administration on even the finer details on how they're going to be able to facilitate PPP loans. It turns out Bank of America might not even receive it until next week or the week after. Pinnacle's website states that we're looking at late April for PPP loans to come out. Meanwhile, if EIDL loans are still being issued, this is important to note. If you go through SBA's website and go through that process, you might be rejected for the loan. That's the clearinghouse. But no matter what, if you do apply and if you claim at least $10,000 or at $10,000, that is free grant money. I've been leaving messages wherever I possibly can. Pinnacle, I was actually able to get through the phone tree and leave a message for Mike DeStefano, who's the Knoxville president of Pinnacle. And apparently he's going to call me back. I've left a lot of random messages for a lot of random banks, and I'm hoping that I can just get status updates so I can communicate it back to you guys and anyone as much as possible. Because, I mean, look, even not knowing that is terrible. You guys need to know what you can count on and where you can get movement. Is like we talked about yesterday, you got to keep moving. You got to keep doing something. Like marketing, you got to keep putting something out there for your brand loyalty, just to get people's minds engaged. And so same with this. Trying to find more information so you guys can, with a little more confidence, understand that help is out there and business can continue.